Hi, Jay.
Hello, mayong gabi.
Ngayong gabi.
Welcome to the seventh wave, the second to the last batch of online screening of the Mindanao Film Festival, um, competing and exhibition films. So for this wave, we have the second batch of the Ngilngig workshop films. So last week we had the first batch, no? So kanitong second batch, last four films. So si Rudolph, ako ang co-host, will join in a while. I think he
Yes.
just
So,
have
ako sa
something
ako sa mag-stand in for
to
him.
do. Yeah, so Ivan is here as a um, stand-in
Stand in.
for Rudolph, pero mag-join si Rudolph later, no? So,
Yes.
yes, seventh wave tonight, and tomorrow is the last wave, no? It will be the screening of the winning films. So, sa mga nag-watch sa screening a while ago before our talkback, we have the following films na screen, no? As I mentioned, mga workshop films nila from Ngilngig, which also had a chance to be screened during the Mindanao Film Festival. So we have the following films: Mangungukoy by Gian Gregorio, who is from Bukidnon, a student filmmaker from Bukidnon. We also have Pamalugu, the film Pamalugu in Limbo by Botero, from Nabunturan. And suki na nato ni si Joy. We just had her the other last week, no, for her other film katong Angulo, but this time this is her workshop film sa Ngingig. It's called Lazaro Strip. And lastly, si Jam Molao from Davao, um, with his film Ghetto Ride. So ato silang i-welcome sa online talkback for tonight. Sabay-sabay na ba sila? Or
I think sabay-sabay na sila magsulod. Introduce naman nato.
okay, welcome. Hello. Mayong gabi.
Ngayong gabi.
Dili ko kadungog.
Ngayong gabi.
Hi. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Gina-try na kong figure out kinsa ning naka face shield. Hello, Candy. May gabi.
Hashtag wear
Yes.
mask.
Beautiful face shield. So, may gabi sa inyong tanan. Again, welcome to the online talkback of your films, which had online screening just a while ago. So, kumusta ko sa nako siguro tamo una, no? Maybe for Joy kay sige lang tag kumusta kay Joy. Last na lang siya, another separate question na lang. But yeah, kumustahon sa namo mo, no? What have you been doing the past weeks, the past months? Unsa ang gikabisihan ninyo amidst the pandemic? I know ang uban sa inyo kay nag-eskwela, no? So yeah, basically just kumustahan lang, no? So unahan nato ang from Central Mindanao siya in a way, no, kay nasa heart of Mindanao ang Bukidnon. So kumustahan nato ang team Mangungukoy, starting from its director si Gian. Hello Gian, kumusta?
Hi, guys. So, busy ko karon na week kay bako man nagsugod ang mga classes. Dayon online, so medyo lisod jud kay ang mga teachers kay hatag ng requirements ba nya walay tudlo. Dayon akong kabisihan karon kay bago lang ko nagsugod og digital arts. Dayon nag sa atong team na sa Mangungukoy bago lang pod nag-prepare para sa Klima Film Festival, like para siya sa climate change na film festival. So yeah, mo daw ako.
Sige. So Kumustahon po nato ang mga collaborators ni Gian, si Klaus Acobo, who is the cinematographer. Tama ba, Klaus?
Yes, sir. Part cinematographer, sir.
So, kumusta ka nang nag-eskwela po ka? Classmate ba mo nilang Gian?
Yes, sir.
So, same mo o
Dili
kanang
na.
grade?
Yeah, we go to the same high school. Classmates with me.
Same school po, tama ba?
Yes, sir.
So si Ara, kumusta si Ara? Classmate po ba mo ni Gian?
Doing great, sir.
Ano sa to?
Yes, sir. Classmates ni sir.
So, same as Gian, kamong duha is kanang online gyapon ang kumbaga pa online mode sa inyong pagsayla karon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you no for joining all the way from tama ba ko Valencia? You're in Valencia or
Lahi mi sir, like ako Valencia ko, taga Maramag ug taga Salawagan.
Okay. But you all go to the same school sa Central
Mindanao University.
Tama ba? Central Mindanao
Yes, sir.
University, no?
Yes.
Sige, so kumusta na to ang nabakasagutan karon Ram? What's up with you since the last time we talked sa Pasalidahay? What's keeping you busy? Or nawala siya?
Gawa sa siya kadali. So kay Jam na lang sa tamang umusta.
Sige si Jam. Ikaw Jam, kumusta Jam? Nana baka diri sa Davao unsa imong gikatisihan karon?
So far okay lang man Japon sa karon na pandemic kay namo ko diri sa Kidapawan. Ginakabisihan na po na ako diri kay always lang naka-climb, then picture na nagsabot ng videos. Montage. Then ako na week po bago lang po naka-enroll sa Malayan sa multi-media course.
So online classes pud ba mo? Same.
Online classes may karon. Plate, nagabot nga yung mga plates karon. Ito.
Sige. Thanks. Jam, si Ram, ready na ka Ram or are you experiencing some connection
Technical
issues?
difficulties. There. Tam? Problema gyud sa Jay sa signal niya Jay.
Asa siya karon?
Nabunturan.
Nabunturan na at mapa sa tabo.
Yes. So sige, mag-proceed na lang
Sige
sa
lang.
siguro ta Jay.
Sige, kumusta na to si
Meantime.
Ram when her connection gets back? So the usual round of kanang questions sa first round no is kanang we talk about your films, the origins of your films. Well, ako particularly, I know how your film started, but of course, because we have our viewers, we want you to share with them kung no paunsa nag-start ang inyong film, paunsa siya na-develop. So, magsugod ta kay Gian. So, asa nag-start ang concept sa Mangungukoy? Dito ba sa workshop or you had this story even before pa? And then paano siya nag-develop during the workshop?
Sige. So like first kid mahitabo kay nakikita ko sa Ngilngig Asian Film Festival like na post bitaw So like nakig-talk na ko sa akong crew dayon, like sa akong bago lang na form na crew which is Hawkins Production, like sa mga student lang na passionate about making films. Dayon ato na time gi-awardan bitaw mi sa among school to sa among first film na nabuhat. So like sa backstage nag-story din mi na about sa ngilngig unya kung unsa ang mga concept bitaw. So na rin to nag-suggest sa mua na sa unsa bitaw ngilngig sila. So like natos lang nakita na video like Japanese mong to na like isa ka girl na nabitaw sa ilahang balay din paghawa niya kay na rin gawas sa ilang cabinet na niwang kay na tao na kanang weird bitaw. And so like mo rin to dito nag-start like murag sa stalker mi nag-start dayon. So nag-apply din ko sa ngilngig dayon sa ato na story, ato na pitch. Naghatag ni kog logline na katang stalker ay girl na wala siya kabalo na ay stalker na galik sa iyang plates ano bitaw like all the weird stuff like iyang gina excessively indulge iyang self sa mga gamit sa girl. So mo din to ako din gitry og butang sa isa ka Filipino na setting na like sa amo sa Bukidnon na like usually ang mga students kay board man dire sa among high school. So dito na ako gi-apply. Dayon nagka-develop din siya tungod sa camp dayon like thankful ko sa mga directors na sa ila bitang critic kay every night din kay ako din gaka-improve dayon. So mo to siya nag-start siya sa isa lang ka pitch sa ako ang ka-crew din. Tungod din sa directors na himo din siya kung unsa karon.
Sige, thank you. Siguro sa part nila Klaus and Ara, no, ang akong question is how did Gian approach you sa concept, no? And then unsa inyong mga initial thoughts giunsa ninyo pag-discuss ang film unsa ninyo pag-collaborate with him, so kadto siguro unahan na to si Klaus.
The first kanang pag-approach niyan sa mga sir is kanang since ang kuan man namo like pag-discuss sa kanang whenever kanang nami apila na entries or inana kay kanang iyano nang i-pitch sa amoa dayon like dito dayon na part is mag-suggest na rin mig among own ideas then i-culminate amo nang i-condense then na din final. But isa sa mga mistakes na among nabuhat ani is wala mi ka storyboard which is very kanang mistake siya na part sa mga kay if naka storyboard mi is matarong na mo ang flow sa movie.
Sige, thank you Klaus. Si Ara kay siya ang siya ang actress sa film. Wait, naga-loading pa yata si Ara. Hello, Ram, madmo ko nimo.
Ram, I think naka-mute ka.
Murag naka-mute ka.
Naka-mute pa ka, Ram. Wala pa kayo audio, Ram.
Hello?
Yes,
Yan.
go. Sige.
Okay.
Sige.
Hi.
Kumusta sa kanamo? Wala na ano ka ganina. So kumusta sa from katong last time nga nag-storya ta and then karon na bay mga changes, mga new plans, new creative endeavors na gina-pursue?
Jay, choppy ang audio. Pwede i-chat mo ang question? I'm sorry.
Sige, wait
I'm so sorry. Hello?
Okay na,
Yan,
Jay.
ako nag-post. Nagalag po ba ko?
Ram? I think murag na-freeze na po siya, Jay.
Sige. Let's, nawala po si Ara. Si Ara na akong storya. Wait, murag magsulit na siya.
Murag na siya, sir.
Hello,
Kasi
Ara, ano na?
tayo sa connections. Oh.
Are you
Hi,
there
Ara.
na, Ara?
Hi, sir. Sorry, sir.
Thanks.
Sige, kato ang akong question is kanang giun pag-present ni Gian sa imong concept sa story because kanang in a way kanang controversial siya for your age, no, kay it tackles sexual deviancy kumbaga pa. So giunsa ninyo pag-discuss together with Gian ang concept sa film, tapos kadto, how did you take it, Gian's concept for the film?
Sir, personally, I am really not an expert po in the field of acting. So, fortunately, sir, I got a lot of help po from the production team, from the people behind the camera. So, wala ko nagitabangan, sir, I will not be fully immersed to the role po. And as someone po nga gapad, sir, kanang I try to be very immersed to the role po. So, kanang gitabangan lang po jud ko nilang diyan, sir.
Unsay mong mga reaction, curious ko unsay mong mga reaction or unsay mong reaction basically sa story kay in a way unsuitable siya or uncomfortable ba siya for you? Na-discuss ba ninyo ni Gian ang content sa story?
Medyo uncomfortable gyud siya at first, sir. Pero lucky po to, sir, nga akong mga kauban kay mga kaila ra pod, sir. So, I get to be comfortable and calm.
Sige, thank you. Sige, maadto ta kay Joy. Na ba kayo gusto i-update from the last 2 days ago that we talked to you bitaw. Kung ano lang, Joy, pwede nimo mi istoryahan about Lazarus trip, and then briefly lang about the story, and then paano siya nasimula na sa idea, because itong imong film nga Angulo, you discussed it last time during the last screening kay there was a pitching going on, no? So murag similar pud ba ang imong experience in developing Lazarus Strip as with developing Angulo?
Dili siya same sa Angulo nga process when the idea was formed, kay same kay Gian, kay nakita po na ako nga nag-post ang Davao Ngilngig nga naalagi film camp, and I really wanted to join. And up until nag-deadline na lang, wala ko'y material nga masend, but I know I really wanted to join kay experience o learning kanang learning platform siya, din kana collaborate pod. And mo to the day na niabot, murag the idea ko na lang dahil siya, like to make it simple na lang siguro, o kanang kuan kay the idea was formed nga kanang with the inspiration of kanang folklore beings, kay murag the night kay na ay nagtambay mi sa balay sa friends nako, tas in front of them was a really huge mango tree. Dayon na-inspire ko sa mga stories behind mango trees bitaw, nga the folklore surrounding mango trees, and kana the night, and ang part sa Lazarus Strip nga the trip part, kay inspired na po siya, it was a night of under the influence po of fun-ish, safe fun.
Under the influence of
kanang
bleep.
of good friendship.
So na-mention niyo ang folklore, no? Is that something na kanang very true or very kanang very present sa Iligan diha nga part sa Mindanao nga culture. Because I know, for example, ang theater um ninyo is very strong kanang sa Mindanao State University mismo. So kanang does folklore is something na kanang always influences your story, your art, or your kani sa aspect na ni your films.
I can't say sa Iligan in general, pero like personally, dili pud ko yung nana ka into folklore, and I can say na everything that I do siguro, or every project na pursue kay influenced by folklore. However, murag kuan particularly ko like kanang interested ko sa folklore, like the power it holds bitaw kay kanang especially sa Philippine folklore, kay dili lang siya stories that kanang nightmares mga stories, but actually kanang these stories are created murag na siya nag-stem siya kana sa collective fears sa mga tao bitaw, and then translated na siya to something creative and into these beings na na creature ko na sila, but actually they are collective fears way before na history nga part.
Sige. So si istoryahan po nato si Jam karon no, unsa ang
Ay, Jay, wait sa Jay, need sa ako mag-out kadali kay try na ko i-patch in si Candy through Messenger
Okay, sige.
para murag dako iyang problema magud pagsulod sa StreamYard. So, itry na ko siya patch in. So, basta matingala ka mawala lang ko.
Sige, okay.
Okay?
Sige, but let's continue lang, or do we stop the stream?
No, padayon lang.
Okay, sige.
I-patch in lang ako si Candy. Like kay itong ibot kay cleared last time.
Okay, sige.
Okay, sige.
Sige. So, sige. This time, let's proceed naman sa film ni Jam, no? So, kanang Jam, unsa ang idea behind the film? Unsa nimo siya na-develop? Do you have you had this story before pa, or kanang sa camp lang nimo siya na-develop? And yeah.
Actually, before ko nagsulod sa camp, no, is like I'm not really into writing stories. Then anto behind the camera lang yung gunagay. Tapos during the film camp, I was not expecting na required me, wala ko giingnan sa ni Sir Tanyado na magbuhat ni story, then mag-produce mi og film. Then ako lang man tong nakatrabaho og story. Then actually wala ko I really don't know about sa me sa production, sa post prod. Kay for like 4 years kay camera lang tanan ako ginagunitan eh. Then ang pag film camp pod dito po na ako na actually nakoy unang story na gisulat na nakalimutan sa to. Tapos murag trash gud siya, murag di ko ganahan. Tapos then I came up with this na I'm always into streets na skateboarding, graffiti, hip hop. Tapos what if ibutang na ko ang streets sa akong film. Tapos with the ngilngig part dito na. Then kato nangotan ko ila Joy and saon pag Joy and sa nindot ibutang sa akong film na sa then kato develop na akong film. Pero hopefully soon maka-produce po isa.
Okay. Thank you, Jam. Pero unsa ba kato sa mga wala nakapas, briefly unsa ang Ghetto Ride about?
Ang Ghetto Ride is about a skateboarder na ano kanang sabay niya yung airpods sa ano ba sa streets na nagadeal sila nagadeal sila drugs, then wala siya kabalo kung unsay consequences sa yung ginabuhat ba sa cons.
Si Ram. Hello, Kens, are you there? Yeah, since wala na mo ka ask ka ganina from the first at the onset, no, gusto lang namo pud kay ask how are you now, on what's keeping you busy, and then had that talk, no, sa pasalidad.
Ivan, murag wala nimo na share ang audio ni sa patch through. Hold on, Jay. We'll bring him back in.
Okay. Hello, good evening. Sorry for the bad signal. Um, I just got back diri sa Davao. I was in Nabunturan for the first 3 months sa quarantine, but I'm back in Davao now. Um, there weren't much stuff going on sa Nabunturan when I was there. They were still contemplating if they were going to pursue Nabi Film X this year, and a lot of film projects in Nabunturan have been postponed. We actually have one film with Derek Mary Ann Gabisan, unya tapos wala pa siya. I think wala pa na submit, but I already saw the final cut, but I think they're still trying to re-edit it. So far wala pa gyoy kanang film movements sa Nabunturan. I don't know much about the katong dito pud sa Moncayo but we're hopeful once murag mag-subside na ni ang pandemic and we finally have a guideline on proper guideline so we could start shooting films. I think it will be better for a lot of filmmakers. For me, I am doing a bit of wala kaayo ko yung mga film activities now, but recently I did an exhibition sa Netherlands, a collaboration with Dutch artists for the Dutch Art Institute. I read my manifesto on post-colonial narratives, and so far I think that's one of the most productive thing I've ever done for a while now.
Mhm. So, online, I assume online to siya na ano, na exhibition or forum.
Hmm?
Was it an online exhibition or
Yes.
forum?
Okay.
Mm.
Yes,
Sige.
it's an online exhibition. I think they're still streaming it sa Dutch Art Institute. The title of my title of the act of the exhibition is envelopement. So I worked with two Dutch sound artists. So I
Sige.
read my manifesto for their exhibition.
Okay. Sige, maybe later pwede na tong i-post ang ano, no, or we can post it here sa stream katong link sa exhibition. But yeah, the last time we talked was that was another platform ano. But since we have a new set of kanang audience viewers, can you just briefly talk about Pamalugu, how it started, how the concept was developed, and how it was developed in the film camp?
Um, well, Pamalugu is the title is from the Bagobo ritual. According to Bagobos and the Matigsalogs, or the people of the river, when you die, your spirit or your gimukod arrives to a place called Banwani Mabuyan, where you need to contemplate on the life that you've left behind. And from there, you will find a river where you shall bathe, so you can cross to the other side, the final resting place of the spirit, or what they call the Gimukudan. And the ritual cleansing is called bathing, is called Pamalugu. It is a ritual to make your spirit at home in its new place. So the idea, I think I've already had this idea of telling an intersectional narrative of the struggles, but I wanted to frame it in a mythological. I wanted to do it in a mythological framework. I want to add post-colonial narratives about it. I mean, give it a post-colonial aspect to tell our narratives from the viewpoint of the Filipinos, and to reimagine hell from the indigenous point of view. Um, so really, the film really is an intersectional love letter to the different struggles. It talks about the gender struggle and how it intersects with class, and how class intersects with our ethnicity, and how uh, how we are making sense of the construct of our oppression.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good that you mentioned all those things, Kens, no, because during the last forum that we had during the Pasalidahay, we talk about particularly that the trans narrative, no, and how, like, for me as a programmer, for example, it's a kind of milestone in Mindanao filmmaking, in Mindanao cinema, no, to have your film made, so to speak. So anyway, we will talk more about the films and your experience sa Ngilngi. But I would like to welcome Nana ang akong co-host sa stream, si Rudolph. Mayang gabi, Dolph. Nakamute ka, Dolph.
Okay, maayong gabi. Good evening sa mga filmmakers. Hello.
Okay, so we nakadiscuss nami a while ago, well, nagkamustahan nami a while ago, and then we discussed briefly what their film was about and how it was developed, no? So, we have the filmmakers of the last batch of the Ngilngig Workshop films. So, again, remind na ko ang mga audience that you can now ask questions sa
And we'll
tawag
read
ani?
it.
Sa thread, no? And we will read it for the filmmakers.
May
Uh, do we have the first question na
si
ba?
Neo. Si Neo ata may tanong. Or sino
I
si?
think
Ikaw,
I
Dolph.
think this is Neo in the guise
Ah.
of marketing officer. Hey fellow campers. So si Neo ni siya, guys. Nagpa-mark lang siya. So what is something that you have taken from Ngilngig Film Camp that you will bring with you in your future films? No, so yeah, it could be a learning, an experience, no, so it could be anything that you experience or learn sa film camp that you will bring with you in your future films. So let's start with Gian.
Hello? Nadunggan ako? Sir?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
So akong makuha gid gikan gid sa katong experience nako na nakigstorya ko ni Kuya Neo. So like ana siya na sa high school pa daw siya nagsugod din murag na pressure ko ato na time gid sa ngilngig kay like akong ang mga fellows kay like mga taas kay akong pagtan-aw gid sila gid like kanang like ala ko bago mo ko ani na ni ko anya ganahan mo ko din sila kay like kada gigaya din ka pressure ko dayon like nag-story dito sa Kuya na ana siya na tsada na daw to ang among film as a start then pagpadayon lang daw and sooner or later like mo kano bitagid mag-improve ra bitagid gyapon so like siya nag-asa question niya experience na ko sa iya ang akong nalagigikan sa ngilngig so like ano murag nakalma na din ko ato like wala mong good kitagod kay like mag-istorya sa mga directors unya sa mga people na kanang di na ako kaedad dayon mo to pila din kaadlaw ato din kay nag comfortable na din ko nakik-talk din sa ilaha so yeah mo to akong nako thank you
sige siguro lahiyon ako ang question kinang og Klaus because you were not a participant of the workshop pero siguro ang experience na lang ninyo in making the film Gian unsa inyong mga natun-an that for example for Klaus I'm sure magbuhat mo films in the future what experience did you get from making this film with Gian that you will take with you in the future?
Ako, sir?
Okay. Klaus.
Probably the most, there's a lot of kind of lessons that I learned working with Gian, and probably dili sa kanang we will continue this kanang pursuit in filmmaking, and probably what I can say na ako gyud na learn is working together sa crew. It's because filmmaking is kanang a team effort really, and you need to kanang work together from pre-production hantod sa post. You need to kanang well ako lang mayon is kanang if naingon ng isa you also voice out your kanang opinions and like that, since kanang dili lang ka magpasunod-sunod lang, you also kanang kung which field you are kanang imo pang ipaglaban ang imuhang bale. Kung example sa ako sa editing ko na part, I will also kanang voice out my kanang opinions na dapat inani sad kay para kanang dili lang ka bale ikaw permente mag-adjust. Ina lang.
Si Ara, unsa imong ikasulti ani na question ours? Naka-mute yata ka?
Hello, sir.
Yes, okay na.
Connection sa actress with sa producer. Ang teamwork dyan, sir, within each other. Mao na somehow sa film, sir.
Okay, medyo choppy no, but I think what I got from it was katong teamwork and collaboration between the actress and the director. No?
Yes, sir.
Sige, si Joy, what is your take on this question, Joy, from your dude Neo?
Shout out to mga si Neo.
Shout out Neo.
So, mainly, especially nga sa nature po sa film camp is that never get a waste. When in fact, importante kayo mag-invest ng time and effort sa story development. And it's important to have ng constructive criticism to further enhance your material.
Si Jam, ikaw Jam.
Nakamit ka dyan.
Nakamute yata ka Jam.
During the camp kay ang naano na ako dito kay dito na ako nakita ang kailangan jud nimo kailangan nimo strong connection sa imong director. So para sa ko, if ever you can be a part of the crew sa isa ka film na sa production, uh, that's what I need to establish a good connection sa akong director, or if ever man lang ako ang magiging director, I need to establish a good connection for my crew. Then para ma-produce ang film na gusto na mahimo.
Okay. And then last si Candy. Nai question si Neo Kens. This is from Neo. What is something that you have taken from the camp that you will bring with you in your future films?
My takeaway from, or what I take close to my heart from the Nilnig film camp and workshop, not and any other workshops, is that how it creates this sense of community among older and new filmmakers, and allows us to collaborate with each other, especially that in Mindanao and other regions we don't have film schools, and this is an avenue to discover new filmmakers, and at the same time encourage creatives and storytellers to take up film as a tool to tell their stories. And so yeah, the best thing that I got from the film camp and the workshops is the collaboration with other filmmakers. And we, in a sense, we're each other's teachers. Like when we did the film, I learned a lot from our cinematographer. I learned a lot from our production designer, and I think, especially the series, it's more on praxis. Of course, we have a lot of stories to tell. That's really the most important thing in filmmaking, because filmmaking is just another way of telling a story. But it's also important na kaning collaboration and learning from them, because this um, through practice, this is how we learn. It's like our school, because we don't have the same capacity as people who really went to film schools.
Hmm.
I hope I'm making
Okay,
sense.
sige. Thank you, Kens. I like that you pointed that out, no, because from the very start, from our youngest filmmaker here, si Gian, up to say Muha, I think what you have always pointed out really is the collaborative nature of the kind of filmmaking that we have here in Mindanao, and it's really that kind of kanang nature of collaborative filmmaking na kung asa ta nakatuon, no. I mean, we are not a products of film schools, and all we have right now are workshops, no. But yeah, dakong tabang ang collaboration sa film. People actually help each other out, no. So yeah. So we have a next question from another audience. Dolph.
From Q. Do you guys have any responsibility to our culture? Do you feel that being a creative person requires that you give back or tell a particular story, or not to do something else? Why or why not? Shout out daw kay Felix Serrano. Yan. Sino umpisa? Si si Jay. Sino?
Si,
Ah,
si Gian.
sige.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello? Madungan ka, okay ra? Okay, so, wait, nabasa ko sa question sa, so yes, I do feel responsibility for my culture, pero wala ko'y or ay dili bitaw, kwa, ang feeling kay dili need bitaw na magtell ko, story, like, directly gud sa akong culture, pero ay directly related daw sa akong culture gud, because that's how we live. And, sa akong, wait, first to give back or to, sa akong, I feel na, dili ko need mag-give back, pero akong igawas bitaw ang story kung saan nasa ko, like, daghan kog ideas karon because sa ngilngig na pwede man ko mag-write di ay, so mag-write ko. And actually kanang atong Mangungukoy, that was my first time writing a screenplay or script para sa isa ka film. And that story kay dili siya about sa uban, pero it's about myself kay, so yeah, in ana, mura to libog gamay sa question, sir, pero like mo to answer.
Mm.
Si Joy. Mute.
Sorry. Sabang ba ng dogs? Kasi madunggan. Anyway, yeah, I feel like, dili siya feel. I believe nga ang artists, especially, kaya dapat nag-hold sila responsibility sa culture nilang i-represent. And it extends sa sensibilities nilang ginapakita sila mga projects o it extends mo silang social responsibility, the way we represent cultures. And ako personally, I can't say nga na ako responsibility, but certainly I'm trying to extend that responsibility without to handle stories with care. And second question, do you feel that I feel like it depends man siguro sa artists whether to give back to a certain culture, pero personally kay honoring them and respecting the culture is necessary it's necessary to begin with siguro. And the question whether you should give back or not is another question.
From the team of Mangungukoy, si Arabelle and Klaus. Okay, yun. Klaus siguro. Do you guys have any responsibility or culture? Yeah.
Do we have a responsibility to our culture? For me, it's yes and no. I think it's yes because culture is kind of part of your identity, and you need to make sure that your identity is kanang spread or kanang ma-inform ang whole world ana to na kanang ga-exist imong culture, or else it would die out. And no, because I mean, for me, if you're an artist, kanang you don't need to conform to any kanang like responsibility. It's your choice as an artist. But yes, kanang you also kanang maybe a small part na maybe you should kanang display your culture through film, because culture is related to your identity. And the second question, do you feel the need that being a creative person requires that you give back or tell a particular story? For me, I think it's more about the pursuit, not about telling the story. Like from one of my favorite cinematographers, Emmanuel Lubezki, his method was more about pursuing the truth. Like one of his kanang films was like his cinematography had a really kind of unique style, because kanang you can see the nature living in it. It's not more about like the telling the story. It's more about like showing the reality. That I mean, that's for me. That's all.
Clara?
So for
Arabelle,
me, sir,
Arabelle ba?
yeah,
Arabelle.
yes, sir.
Arabelle.
For me,
You have
sir, yes, sir, we have a responsibility to our culture. And talking about the requirement, um, as a creative person, giving back to the culture, dili siya dapat nga requirement, sir. If gusto ta mag-give back sa atong culture, we must do it willingly. And filmmaking is a great avenue for giving back to our culture if we can showcase it to other people, sir, through filmmaking.
Okay, Jam.
For me, as a filmmaker, siguro sa katong ano sa katong gibuhat ako nga film kay ano man pud good dili pud dapat kaayo nako ipakita ang ano kung sa side good mismo sa underground like lisod ay kay naging part mo gud ko sa katong story na ano sa katong story na akong gipakita sa mga tao part ko atong culture na which is ang skateboarding then kato dapat dapat dili tanan nga ano kay dapat na ipakita kay it's because napoy times na ano namoy uban nga mga part sa kultura nga nga to ay musig matamakan or ano ma-misunderstand nila akong pag ano sa akong story tapos then dili ko gusto na ano nga maano ko nga as snitch na ano nga ginapakita gina ko mismo unsa ang ganap sa among ano sa among eksena ano then kato salamat.
Rudolph, you're on mute.
Will the responsibility to our culture? I don't think I have a responsibility to our culture necessarily because our film talks about redefining culture. I mean, if you mean by culture, the current culture, the macho culture, the culture that displaces a lot of marginalized narratives, I do not have a responsibility with that because remember that it's not culture that makes people, it's people that make culture and continue to redefine that. But I have a responsibility to the narratives and the struggle of our people. And when you embark on that journey of telling their story, especially lived experiences of people, it's essential when you are a creative and you're a storyteller, when you want to tell stories of other people, it's important that you do your research. So when I made my film, I had to understand. Of course, it's important for me that I know how this. Um, I know the issue because I experienced that myself. So the responsibility really is to tell the truth. And yeah, I think that is one of the most crucial things that storytellers and filmmakers must remember. And
Okay.
Tan Ram Botero.
Thank you, Ram. Do you have a follow-up,
Okay.
Dolph, or
By Q again. What's your opinion on Japanese content such as anime, mangaka, and movies influence young filmmakers such as ourselves and Jay?
ano appeal ko dire? Or ako ba ni?
Siguro siya. Sige, si Gian.
So I believe that they are great asset, or they contribute greatly to aspiring filmmakers sa karon na generation good. Like dahani ko kakakita ng mga people na kanang they're not filmmakers pero heavily influenced sila sa anime, manga, and other stuff gikan Japan. And as for me pod sa akong uban mga decisions ay creative decisions ga ka influence pod gid diha, like not just in filmmaking but sa ako sa art o sa akong mga videos na like isa sa akong ganahan nila na I'm not sure na dara sila gigikan pero like ang cyberpunk mongol like kanang futuristic Japanese na style, like dara ko na kakon na nasulod na style bitaw. So yeah, I believe that they are a great asset for filmmakers karon. O tsada murag additional na kami like na para mabutang sa library of references sa mga filmmakers. So yeah, mo to akong opinion.
Follow up lang ko, G, because curious ko sa because we have heard a lot of kanang mga filmmakers na nagikan sa other areas sa sa Mindanao, no? Of course Davao, and then we have film communities in Jensan, Zamboanga, in Northern Mindanao, in Cotabato, and in Caraga, in Butuan also, no, na nagasibol na pud ang film community dito. Unsa ba ang situation sa Bukidnon? Kinsa ang mga filmmakers nga active karon sa Bukidnon, and kanang unsa usually ang maka-influence sa inyong mga stories or sa inyong mga films?
Okay, so actually sa Bukidnon, gamay na gid akong nailhan ay na ilhan ng mga filmmakers, mostly kay sa school lang, like sa among school, like naman gud mi kanang flux na club na dara nagsugod ang film, so like apil mi ana sa mga pioneers dayon. Akong pasabot sa mga dili ako mga nailhan na influence sa Japanese na mga na-meet na mga na content such as anime and stuff kay dili sila filmmakers but artists, mga lahin artists pero dili film ilang medium. So kaka-influ like wala kay ko kakuan sa like sa story pero like ang style sa Japanese o kana kung ginaunsa nila pag pakita bitaw ang content pag kanang sa gani pag communicate inana, like nakoy nagkaila si yung pangalan kay Kuya Kinley, his an art graphic designer and an artist dayon tanagin ako yung works and heavily influenced kayo sa Japan na mga stuff. Pero as I said, filmmakers wala gamay na ako na 800 sa Bukidnon and mostly kay sa school. So ana.
Okay, sino next? Ito sa Klaus and Arabelle.
Yes, sir. Which question, sir? Ang katong Japan?
Japanese content.
My opinion on Japanese content such as anime and manga. I think it's very a good influence to our culture because sa ako na notice anime and manga, they're very rich in stories and they have very interesting characters and how they interact with their situations. And ako lang maingon is ang Japanese like content like anime and manga ay it's more about the freedom of storytelling. Like it's very it's like very rich. And then aside from Japanese content like anime and manga, ang also pod na interesting sa Japanese na like filmmaking na culture is like in the 50s, like in 40s and 50s, like panahon nila atong sa Seven Samurai, like director Akira Kurosawa bitaw, like it's very like kada may ilahang storytell, like ang cinematography and everything, like kanang it's really kanang would be interesting if ang kato na type of culture would be kanang mabring sa ato ang own kwan bitaw, because kanang ang storytelling itself is kanang really, well, let's say kanang mas connected sila sa ilang culture. So kanang if we ever try to kanang promote kanang our culture, like especially dili lugar sa Bukidnon, I would suggest na kanang mag-reference ta sa katong Japanese na itong karaan dito nila na films, kay kanang I think it's kanang kuan, it would apply kanang really great kung atong i-try og kuan. Dayon, unsa ang second question, sir?
Wala, para isang question lang. Yan, isang question.
Right. More to, sir.
Si Arabelle.
Sir, contributes sa Japanese content, sir. Nabudan dito po minds and creative saya here. So, then we try different plots, different techniques, influenced or inspired by Japanese content. So, it's a very good influence in the young filmmakers.
Jam.
My opinion on Japanese content such as anime, mangaka, and movies influence young filmmakers such as ourselves is that for anime guy, like Japan ang pinaka sikat na nagabuhat og anime, which is sila lang ata yun ang nagabuhat og anime na mostly sa ilang ginabuhat is series. I think that dapat dali pud sa sa Pinas is napoy mga filmmakers na ma-inspire na magbuhat og nga kay para napod day sarili atin, and ulabaw katong parehong RPG na tanoya na na film na animated Japon. Unta sa mga yato madungagan ko tong mga film na inato. Then ito lang.
Okay, Joy.
As someone nga nag-consume ko ng ng manga. Okay siya. Like it's great na people are getting influences and inspiration from Japanese media. Where I think it's equally important gyapon not to oversaturate the influences bitaw nimo sa mga for example Western influences or even Japanese influences. Murag i-expand gyapon nimo ang imong influences not to these major nga outlets para dili kayo saturated ang imong influence. Pretty great. Yeah.
Regarding anime influence,
Japanese
I think every creative, every film is allowed to explore different styles, different aesthetics that suit their that suits them and is effective in telling their story or approaching their art. Because there are various ways of approaching your art, and I think there are a lot of brilliant animated films, animations, Japanese animations, especially the types of Studio Ghibli, which produce one of the most stellar animes in the world. So.
My question, we have a question, Jay, from Neo. Pwede natin isabay sa isang question dito para magpareho sila. Sige lang. Do you put pressure in yourself before you make a film or fake it till you make it? Sige, pwede
I think
siguro to.
yeah, murag related siya diri sa question na kuan unsa ang mga difficulties nga na
Ah,
experience.
ah.
Oh, yeah, but this is
No,
specific
yung
related to
kay
the
Clyde,
pandemic.
parang kay Clyde ata ang
Where asa to yung
gusto mo
question?
yung kay do you put pressure in yourself before make a film? And kay Clyde, parang related to sila.
Yeah, oo.
Were there times when your films or the process in making them failed to meet your expectations? How did you cope? Shout out ko kay Klaus ug Gian, mga gwapo. Ara sa atin. And also to Ara. Ibigan nyo ata to si Clyde. Actually, pwede pagkapareho tong tanong nila, yung tanong ni Clyde and Neo. So, siguro si Joy ating unahin.
Niyo ang question or kaning kay
Pareho lang ang sagot nitong
Kuan or times. Yeah, Kuan. Sure. Like it's important to like unavoidable kayo you carry some amount of pressure sa mong self para to keep you grounded as you go through like mahalag pre-prod or production na siya nga part. And yeah, feel ako like ako personally kay murag fake it till you make it yung murag. Ako personally kay murag ang medyo anxious ko nga person like conscious ko sa mga creative decisions. And in relation sa katong question ni Sir Clyde Gubaton kay kuan kanang namaglit times na kanang grand na kayo siya sa tong mind, and then ang struggle, one of the struggles siguro sa filmmaking is how to translate that imagination and himuon gid siya sa film bitaw. Isa na siya sa lisod nga part nga kung siya ka grand si mong utok, lisod na siya i-translate or like lisod na siya ipa-reflect sa reality sa paghimo sa film ba. And yeah, personally ko it happened some parts sa Lazaro strip and parts sa coping siguro like parts sa coping is hindi siya cope, marag weird ang word na cope, but parts sa process siguro is to accept nga kanang na ay certain limitations sa sahay sa production, and as a director, you have to be always on your toes bitaw to decide unsa i-let go sa creative process, unsa i-let go sa creative decisions, unsa i-change sa creative decisions, and always prioritize the point of your story. Ako personally, nga kung magka-problema kayo, always prioritize the point of your story. Yeah.
si Jam.
Nakamute ka, Jam.
Nakamute.
Sorry. During the time sa atong production na sana sa Ghetto ride, kay medyo naghan ko gi-expect sa akong film na which is I dili mo sa daghan like siguro sa technical, especially sa sound, then kato. Tas medyo nagka-problema po ko sa akong crew sa duha na ko ka camera operator kay wala mi nagkasinabot. Ako man ang director at the same time DOP po ko. Siguro ato nga time that time kay ang always na ako kasabay is ang editor which is kato si Barbs. Then ang ginabuhat na lang ako is kung unsay pwede pa masulod sa akong story na connected sa nakasulat sa akong papel. Ato na lang murag wala na ako ibang choice like pati sa budget medyo na short ko gamay. Then siguro sa pag-cope up na ko ato is like maging proud na lang ako sa akong gibuhat na which is Pato, kami sa akong crew, nag-enjoy may, naka-experience ko na makabuhat ko ganun film. Kaya first time ginawa.
Okay, siguro sa isang question to sa team ng ano yan, Mangungukoy, no? Because yun, yung question ni were there times, or maybe Gian can answer it because he's the filmmaker, or baka kayo mga filmmakers. Yun, from Clyde and Mio, pareho lang to, related lang to, do you put pressure in yourself before making a film, or may time ba na yung film yung paggawa nyo did not meet your expectations?
So for me, gapot ko pressure sa akong sa di ko sure kung akong ginito yun, but I really put pressure in myself when kanang before making a film, like pag write pa lang ato sa Mangungukoy, niing ko ato sa akong self na first type ko nag-write ani, so I want this to be perfect. So like kada gabi hunahon ako unsaon pag-shoot, unsaon ako pag-storya, like balik-balik ko na ako, i-act na ko sa ang characters, like muna hindi ko katulog tungod sa excited goro, and the only way to kanang para ma-calm ko is by talking to my crew and kanang ma-settle bitaw akong ideas, like ma-communicate sila og tarong. So aside pod is dili bitaw namo makuha gid ang among gusto na mga shots, or like ang mga kay since ay mga ambitious mood kay usually ang ako mga gusto. So usually among ginabuhat dahil ana is to talk it through mangitag lain way, since limited man pud sa equipment ug sa budget. So more ana mangita og pagi o para ma-settle.
Klaus or Ara, can you add if you have been making films before, meron within the process and the film that you made did not meet expectations, and yung question ni Neo, do you put pressure in yourself before you make a film?
Okay, me first, sir.
Or pwede, ayun, i-combine na lang kasi parang related tong questions niyang dalawa.
Okay, sir. Do I put pressure in myself? Yes, I put pressure in myself, and also I motivate myself to make the film. But also at the same time, I fake it till I make it. Okay, 9 times, ay nanim ko lang, like, basin for me lang ni, but ang inani ang process sa pagbuhat sa among film, like at first motivated pa kay me na to make the film, like inani ang characters, inani ang plot, inani ang like everything on sa ang situation, and then sa tunga-tunga din sa making it or sa pag-develop it, like ma-realize din na mo na batik man kay ni, like kanang why did I even think of this, na kanang it's crap. So again, revise again nya ang worst na situation is nasugdan na namo ang production nya na-realize din mo ang script kay ala batik man di ay. So ang kwan na lang buhaton lang namo is to fake it till we make it. Dayon since di pa mangyapon namo na ma-visualize, kay usually sa post naman na like makaingon mi hala sada man di ay, like madahara man di ay. So usually sa we kanang i-fake it na lang namo until maabot na lang mid-post, kay maybe ma-fix pa namo sa post, which is kanang dili na mali na siya na mindset. Usually din pag abot namo sa post, kanang dito na namo ma-rectify, ma-finalize nya, ma-realize din naman eventually na okay ra man di ay madahara, so i-pass na nato ni. So like that, sir.
Okay, Ara, do you have naman kay i-add, ikadungag sa
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I put pressure in myself before we made the film, sir, because it is a way man good, sir. I'm telling myself that I have to do better during the shootings, and if there were any unmet expectations during the filmmaking, sir, we cope up with it by acknowledging that it happened, and we do better the next time, sir. We talk with the crew, we fix the issue, and we move on and do better. So.
Okay, to Candy, the question is parang related tong dalawa kay Neo and kay Clyde, no? Niyo, they put pressure in yourself before you make a film or make it till you make it? Or, and related yung kay Clyde, were there times na your films, in the process of making them, failed to meet your expectations? How did you cope? Mute. Mute. Nakamute. Nakamute. Nakamute.
Hello, Kels,
Okay,
nakamute.
Ayun ba ba ko?
Okay.
Okay na? Of course, there's pressure. That's how you produce a diamond. And with constant irritation, the oyster creates pearl. But you have to trust your collaborators. You have to trust the people that you're working with, your editor, your cinematographer, your producer, your actors, the people around you, because filmmaking is a process, and there will be a lot of changes, revisions, ramifications. It could be the weather, financial constraints, etc. And but you have to accept changes. The important thing is that these changes will not diminish your voice, and it will not diminish the goal of telling the story.
Jay,
Hmm.
the next question.
What is the next question? Di ko kasabot sa yung
Ito
question.
may kay Dincel. Dincel.
Where is that?
Oh.
Yes. Um, as aspiring filmmakers, what are the difficulties that you are experiencing right now amidst this pandemic? Pa-shout out kay Klaus Acobo. From Dincel Amores. So, yeah. Unsa ang mga difficulties? Maybe because we always ask this pod Dolph, no, kanang did the pandemic enable you to kanang in a way creative na push pod bang inyong creativity, like nakahuna-huna ba mo og mga film ideas, no? Siguro that's a follow-up question, but you can answer this question first kung sa tong mga difficulties na
Hello?
inyong na-experience. Oo, sige. Can we start with Gian?
So, as I said earlier, currently, ang team behind Mangungukoy is in the process of making a film for Klima Film Festival. And film is a collaborative work. Did ka og other people at the same place. And actually, like, lisod gyud kay siya karon since dili mi maka-collab like face to face. Like, discuss kami tanan sa Discord, and medyo lisod yun siya, and nagkaguba po mo ang plan since dapat may mag-meet up para mag-shoot, and the problem is wala mi setting na safe, since if mag-meet up mi tanan, it will pose as a threat for sa ourselves po, ana and sa family kung asa mi magstay na house ana. So yeah, muna ang isa ka na problem na among na face karon, which is unsa na mo pag meet up. And as for katong next question ni mo, sir, katong murag like alternative way or unsa, or like creative na unsa ni spark gikan sa pandemic, is like sa amo pa ni discussion mo pa na final, pero sa abong pitch among gina-try og make not in a traditional way like mag-shoot bitaw, pero nag-discuss mi na kung pwede ba na mo i-animate, pero it's a very great risk sa amo kay wa pa mi nakatry ana. So ingana, that's all.
Sige, si Klaus and Ara, same pod ba mo sa experience ni Gian?
Yes, sir. As Gian said sir kanang mo na gito ang mga problems like sa una mo pag-shoot normally na-challenge gid me this pandemic kay daghan kay mig constraints nya ang risk pod from the kuan virus and right now kanang we are trying to kanang explore other kanang maybe katong you mentioned ni Gian sir na animation but still kanang kwan keto kanang we are unfamiliar in that field right now kanang we are kanang maybe just kanang kung unsa mo makaya maybe kanang amo na lang i-try o train among selves or kanang mag-learn make other fields sa filmmaking na kanang makaya na mo ron like for example right now is kanang murag lisod man magtuon og like cinematography and kanang maybe shooting because kanang lisod man makagawas. So right now kanang among gina-practicean is kanang like the technicalities, editing, more about softwares, writing, all that stuff. And that's all.
Curious lang ko sa entire Bukidnon ba, maybe kay Ara, sa entire Bukidnon ba ang unsa ang mobility ninyo karon like can you go or can you pass through the inter-municipalities or kanang lahi-lahi ba ang status sa inyong kanang quarantine or like as a whole kay ang Bukidnon magod is the biggest province in terms of land size or land mass no, sa Mindanao or maybe the entire country. So kumusta unsa day ang situation sa inyong mobility diya karon Ars? Makalahos-lahos lang ba mo or mas strict ba siya or kumusta ang mga kaso sa COVID?
For now, sir, also different localized lockdown bitaw, sir, but kung sa municipality, sir, okay lang, sir. But murag self-precaution, mga good, sir, nga dili lang sa good mas gawas to avoid the spread of COVID-19, sir.
Sige. Si Joy. Humana ba ka, Joy? sa question? Sige, maki-flash na sa question na sab.
Ito ba na kain?
Ay, yeah, because di ba nag-collaborate ni Neo karon. So, yeah.
Oo. Kuan difficult siya for especially kung collaborators nga lagyo. I mean, lisod na siya enough nga lagyo without the pandemic. Ano lang, lisod ang communication. Dayon, mostly makapilar na onta, pre-prod na. Meeting locations. But, risk kayo nga magawa sa balay. Mag-wait na lang siguro nga mawala ang pandemic para safe.
Thanks. Ikaw, Jam. Unsang mga difficulties experience nimo as a filmmaker ha? In a way, naka-affect ba ni siya sa imong creativity and what else?
Nakamute ka dyan.
Nakamute ka, Jam?
Actually, karon kay wala mo kay ko naka-experience og dire sa mo. Wala kay ko naka-experience og kalisod in terms sa akong pagiging creative kay sa karon nga pandemic kay dito pa na murag nang gawas ang mga nindot nadtuan dire sa mua na which is like murag sa mga 72 ka falls diri pa lang sa duha pa lang ka municipality sa Kidapawan City ug sa Magpet. 72. Murag 72 or something 60 plus Then kami sa akong mga amigo kay always mi naga laag then magbuhat og video na na murag pina-travel video. So for me it's like okay lang sa karon nga pandemic mas dito ko nag-boom, mas dito ko naka-practice akong ginabuhat sa akong pag-picture, sa akong pag-edit o pag-video sa mga
That's good, no?
creative video.
Yeah. Different po siya na experience with other artists and filmmakers nga medyo naglisod pud sila because lahi pud ang effect sa pandemic sa ilaha. But I think it differs or it varies kung asa ka gikan. Like for example, siguro kung katong mga nasa syudad wala kayo sila maadtuan, no? But in the case of Jam, no, nga duol lang siya sa nature, so pwede makaspark og kanang inspiration og
Actually, kay diri man gud sa Kidapawan kay murag murag 2 months namin na ano na kung magka-case man kay nalang sa duha or isa ana lang.
So dili pod kay mo
So,
mag-worry in terms of
oo.
kanang health.
Oo, kay higpit man pud among boundaries gud. Dili basta-basta makasulod sa among province.
That's good, no?
Mm.
And nice to siya na trivia 72 water. Pagkabalan ako ang Iligan kay kanang ang pinakadaghang na waterfalls.
Oo.
Pero karon kay ano na di ay Kidapawan or North Cotabato.
Sa Magpet pa lang tong aside kay sa Magpet man gud kay naay 51 falls then murag sa Kidapawan kay ano murag nasa mas not really sure murag nasa mga 15 para ano siguro.
So Joy, na-dethrone na ang Iligan as the city of waterfalls.
Pero din, magtukod na may bagong waterfall.
Sige. Kato, thank you, Jam. Si Candy, Ram, what is your take on this question? I mean, naka-mention naman ka kaganina, no, of your endeavors, but what are the other difficulties maybe?
There are a lot of difficulties, especially that filmmaking and other art practices are not considered as essential, and government budgets that are supposed to help these art practices are realigned for the COVID response. So it's really difficult. We're not just navigating the pandemic; we're also navigating policies that are being set up on how we conduct our practice. And more often than not, a lot of us from the regions are not even consulted, or we're an afterthought when the policies are already drafted. So that's one of the many difficulties. But now we are forging a Mindanao caucus. We are currently gathering members of filmmakers from Mindanao, so we could put forward our voice, our agenda, and the realities of filmmaking here in the region. So I think that's a very important step to move forward.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. No, because it's an issue that affects us all, and it's also an issue that has different contexts, no? Because filmmaking is not what you call this, a monopoly of Manila, but it's actually the bulk of of film production comes from the region. So kanang we should have a voice to that caucus. So tama tong gingon ni Candy na around June, I think, the Mindanao Film Caucus was formed, and I think some of you guys here kay naka-attend ato na gathering online, no? So we consolidated our efforts, and we did a survey, and we are actually processing the result of that survey and to be presented to the agencies, no, so that we could also push our own set of guidelines in the regions. Kay lahi-lahi man taog ka ng context, lahi-lahi ang atong mga realities. We are not like the big studio productions in Manila na daghan og crew. So yeah, so I mean, of course, the safety and health protocols should be in place, but they should also consider the context of the regions, no, in which we operate. So yeah, Kadto, thank you for pointing that out, Kens. Do we have another or last question?
May second to the last, no? Ito ewan ko sinong sa inyo yung nagagawa talaga ng pure horror. Kasi Lisbeth Mindabilcolado has a question. Being a horror director while you're taking a scary line or shooting a scary line, are you also scared? I think yung mga filmmakers dito na were into horror, yung mga ghost stories,
Yeah. Or kanang ngilgi kay ngilngigan ba mo sa inyong kanang gi-shoot
horror scenes.
Yeah,
Are you scared when you're shooting or gilngig yan? Sino si Gian. Yan. Go.
Wala po ka og shoot og horror films pero sa gilngig na part like sa Mangungukoy, like kung ibalik akong pagtanaw gid ako kay like luodan gid yapon ko like kanang murag nagyapon bitaw ang ma-feel na ko ang gilngig factor bisag ako nag-write, like bisan pag wala pa to na produce ang film, ako lang gi-imagine ang scene, ga-feel yapon like dara mo gud kakuan ang feeling god like so nganong ibuhat naman nimo na scene kung wala din nimo na feel imong gusto mismo ipa-feel sa audience, right? So ang film man is a medium para i-communicate nimo imong ideas or feelings or emotions na para ma-feel sa ubang tao. So yeah, muna ma-feel na ko. Thank you.
You have made ngilngig feel. It also applies, Jay, no? Yung mga hugot ng scenes, makaiyak ka din ba kung yun?
Kung ikaw matawa ka ba?
Na-carried away ka ba sa iyong i-shoot? Did you feel the same emotions? Questions apply. Joy or Klaus?
Pero ang hadlok kay kung ma-feel ang imong horror film. Pero feel na ako kay someone na hadlokanan ko di kanang weird siya nga dynamic sa someone who's trying to make a horror film. Kay kanang most filmmakers siguro would say or like would believe nga ang isa sa pinakalisod na genre nga himuon ng film kay ang horror film kay you trash one aspect of it kay murag mayabon na ang goal nimong ginatry just to fear your audience, and bukat siya nga responsibility siguro for everyone in the team sa crew. Okay, you have to be in sync with tanan, from the sound, the lighting, the acting, and everything mo dapat na pull off ng horror siya. So pinako isa na siya sa muna siya ang scariest part and not the story na I'm familiar with. Yeah.
You've made similarly my horror to take a scary line, are you also scared? If you're doing a horror if you're being a horror director, have you been making films na horror talaga na nakakatakot or gilingig? You're shooting where you also have the same emotions that you want to convey to the audience.
Wait lang, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Okay, di ko kasi napansin na kung kay na-choppy yung first.
Okay na. Sige, ito yung being a horror director kasi nagtanong si Ludwina. Tanong niya if sa mga horror, maybe siya sa mga horror film. When shooting a scary line, are you also scared?
Actually, sir, I'm not really into horror films na and horror story. So for me, like katong gi-shoot na ko nga wala kay na ko to na feel ang dito ang ngilngig factor. Real talk lang kay it's like dili kay ko into into horror stories and horror films. I'm more like into actions po. So, medyo siguro lihis ko ano yung pangutana, sir, murag ano.
For example, sa action, if you make an action film, do you still feel the adrenaline of the
Yes, sir.
character?
Yes, sir. Always. Pati yung dun sa ano, yung sa film ko na ginawa po.
Kung drama, makaiyak ka rin ba sa ginashoot nyo na
Oo.
kay Klaus or kay Candy, if they have
For me,
Klaus.
sir,
As an editor,
as an editor, sir,
if you're editing a scary scene, are you also scared?
maybe, but kanang yes, usay maludan ko sa parts, but it's not really kanang that the main thing. Ang ako yung gakahadlokan is will the audience really kanang kuan di mahadlok ba sila gyud ani, like will the audience really be kanang ma-feel ba nila ang like the fear itself. So that's the most kanang murag kanang kung mag-edit ko malimtan lang ako ng feeling na maludan ko. It's more about kanang kang magets ba gyud sa audience, like mahadlok ba sila ani, like that, sir.
Candy, do you have experience working in a horror movie? When you're shooting a scary line, are you also scared? Or similarly na like yun, tanong ko kay Jam, action, do you also feel the adrenaline? Ganun.
Yung question?
Yeah, kasi nag-question si Liz Viminda Vinculado na being a horror director, while taking a scary line, are you also scared? Maybe it applies to other films na maybe what you want to convey, do you also na-experience mo na rin ba? Yun.
Okay. My film wasn't necessarily horror, but for the purpose of answering the question, I think Professor Keitan of UP Los Baños did wrote an academic essay on horrors from Yilni as reflections of urban anxieties. You can Google it up. But yeah, you get scared when you write something. I think, but it's important. I think it's important to get scared, and it's important that you examine it. I think Jay will like this. Joan did you an advice to keep the snake in an eye line. So that's how you keep it at bay. If you examine fear, then it wouldn't scare you that much anymore. And yeah, I think that's also one of the motivations of filmmakers to make horror films.
What book is that na from Joan Didion?
It's The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion, where she processed her grief when she lost her husband.
I read that, but di na ko
The snake
ma-remember
in the
na
eyeline, to keep it at bay. That's how you keep fear at bay.
Yeah, I read it also, but di na ko
Because
ma-remember
when you
ang line.
know where the source of that fear, you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I may actually experience that, Jay. I saw a ghost, no? Harapan, and I remember the light. I remember yung paano siya na ilawan. Because it was I remembered it. When I made a music video with a local band, Davao band, and it was about a ghost, I remember na gisabi ko kay Mark Limbaga, was the cinematographer, na i-describe ko how I saw the ghost and how it was lighted. And yun, ginawa namin. And when it was shown, I think it was in a cable TV during I got scared because I remember yung multo na nakita ko with the yung lighting na ginawa namin sa movie as a music video. Yun yung
I think same sa kuha. Like I have ngilingig film ideas, pero hantod ideas lang siya because I can't write it because kanang ako mismo kay mahadlok ko sa iya mahadlok ko sa thought na i-shoot siya because it's an exorcism film, so ako naka-experience ko og kanang exorcism sa silingan. So I heard the usual noises na madungog nimo. So hangtod karon nalang gyapon siya sa akong mind. But every time I tell the idea kanang gilingigan ko sa iya na idea. So maybe someday masulat na ko siya and ma-film na ko siya. So yeah,
And yes,
that's it.
that segues to the question of Neo, no? Because you didn't make a film, let's ask the filmmakers, why do you make films? Why do you want to keep making films? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we have all our reasons, but how
despite
about you? How do you, why do you want to keep making films? You can start
yeah.
with
Can we start
Klaus.
Gian?
Hello?
Yeah.
Good G.
Hello? Okay, so good bata pa ko like elementary. Akong pugos akong sister na maggira-gira mi niya mag-video ko. Nya ako ning but ngan og mga sound effects ikan sa Counter-Strike na sa among na file. So like bata pa ko gusto na gid ko mag-buat og films gyud. Like sa grade 6 pa namo gitas ko as and nami film na project and ako gitanan like sa director, writer, cameraman ana di lang ko actor ako tanan like akong classmates igo ra na dira sa camera so ako din tanan ato pero ang naka-benefit kami tanan. So para lagi sa ko I make films because I have stories to tell. So like nako i-share lang na story like ako kay sige ko urumon kablang sa urumon like sleep paralysis.
Mm.
Isa na muna akong gusto buhat na film sunod like ang story nako na urumon because dakan di ko mga dreams na gusto bitaw ihimo og films pero in relation sa question ganina mahadlok pod ko kay like basin ang pagbuhat nako ato like muskuan na bitaw siya sa mind mo engrave na matinuod dayon. Isa ka example ani na story is kung nagdamgo ko like same setting sa akong room pero naay mga lahi na mga deity or something like nagguspam sa iyo karon na panahon na. So like if ako na i-put into film basin matinuod ba so muong mahadlok ko pero in relation sa karon na question gusto na ko na i-story sa urban people like i-convey sa ila na feeling bitaw na ako ana na time. So yeah mo na I want to tell people my stories.
Sige. Siguro kay Klaus because you are the editor and cinematographer karon na film no pero do you also plan to like be the director of your own film in the future?
Yes, sir. Right now, akong ginabuhat karon sir is kanang practice ko writing, screenwriting, like sa mga, maybe kanang mga ideas na mo pop up lang sa akong mind. And sa question, sir, kanang, why do you keep making films? Well, I don't know really the reason. Maybe it's not really fun, but it's more of an obsession. Like I can't stop thinking about film. Like I need like the characters and like this, like, just like that. Maybe it's about telling a story, but it's more of maybe to prove a point that we here in Mindanao makabuhat po ka ng mga films like from like Hollywood na level. Like we can do that na simple naman na we naraman na yung mga naraman na yung process na kinahanglan nato i-follow din nana maybe to prove a point sir to other people na kanang artistically makabuhat pud mi ana like all the films na makita mo sa Hollywood na we can also do that. That's all sir.
Thanks, Klaus. Si Ara, do you see yourself Ars na mag-direct pod or magbuhat og film or gusto nimo magpadayon og acting?
Sa acting lang siguro, sir. Pero with regards to the question, sir, for filmmakers, I think kanang ganun ka-continue sila making films. It's because when you do something you love, sir, you just find yourself wanting to continue doing it. So,
Thank you. Si Jam.
Siguro sa being a creative filmmaker, I want to show people I want to show people na about sa akong craft na na which is proud ko sa akong gibuhat. Then I want to make more than obsessed ko sir sa kung ako mabuhat na isa ka halimbawa isa ka film or something na I want to show them na kani ako aning gikan. I'm proud of it and I want you guys to watch it like sir
Expression
isa to
ba?
sa mga isa to sa mga dahilan nga nganong gusto nako magpadayon sa filmmaking.
Hmm. Thank, thanks, Jam. Si Joy. Para kay Neo ba ni na question? Oh, kay Neo dai.
Continue. And I think simply because I believe in the power of stories and how stories help shape people, shape consciousness. And aside from that, Kimura, personally, I treat stories or storytelling as a way na kanang how we make sense sa atong reality, how complex it is, how difficult it is to make sense. And I think storytelling is one of the ways na us like filmmakers and creative people and storytellers are trying to make sense out of it.
Thank you, Joy. Another version of your of your answer because murag napangutana na yata ni before.
Exactly.
Si Neo magud ba? Kuan kayo question ba? Sige si Ram.
Um, I don't think I could still call myself a filmmaker. I'm lucky to have worked with and collaborated with people who have been making films for a while and were very gracious enough, generous enough to lend me their talent and their resources. But I think filmmaking, like Joy said earlier, it's another tool to tell a story, and I think it's also one of the most effective tools, especially in the digital age. It can transmit it easily. People are very visual, and it's a multidisciplinary art. Have um, you have visual, you have the sound, and you have the writing with the screenplay, and that's what I like about film. It allows me to explore these other media. Um, and I perhaps I will continue. I will attempt to continue making films, not necessarily as a director, perhaps a writer, perhaps a production designer, perhaps because you don't necessarily have to be a director. In the regions, we need more production designers. I think that's something that we still lack. You know, a lot of production designer, someone who would really focus on production design, costume, and those things, because that is very important also in conveying a narrative, conveying your story, and making your film effective. Um, we need more writers. We need more cinematographers. Especially female cinematographers really need that because there's actually a politics between the male and the female gaze, and I think that's also crucial. Um, so yeah, I think, and we need more actors. I think that's also an important thing because um, usually we just pick friends and beg them to act in our films, but it's actually very important to have pool of actors. That's one of the problems that we had during the workshop and um, coming up with a film, because we need actors and we don't have much people here in Mindanao who are into that. So we need to develop that as well. So yeah, perhaps I will continue with filmmaking, but not necessarily as director. Can be anything because, like I said, filmmaking is a multidisciplinary art, and there's room for everybody.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay. Questions. Okay, that's. Is there a site to access the? Ito. So we would like to thank our guest filmmakers from Bukidnon, Nabunturan, Joyce Iligan. Jam is from where's
Kidapawan.
Davao? Kidapawan. Nabunturan. Would like to thank them for sharing their time with us. Gabi na for the seventh wave uh, Q&A portion of the 17th Mindanao Film Festival. Any parting statements or mga announcements na gusto nyong
Yeah.
pakuan sa audience?
Yeah. It could be anything, no? Kanang basig na may gusto i-promote. Yeah. Any last message?
Joy?
Kasi, gusto na i-promote akong please, pati like and follow sa Ghetto Graphs on Facebook. Nag-post ko mga pictures dito na na mga photography nako and mga creative videos. If you want if you want to see some aesthetic pictures or videos. Thank you.
So, and yeah, na-mention na po lang ganina video and I it's still in pre-production and maybe there are producers out there who are willing to collaborate. Yay! Sige, wala to.
Hello.
Yep.
So sa mga aspiring filmmakers diha, feel free to kanang contact me o kanang sa akong mga crew because if gusto mo mag-collab or ana kay because we want to experience kung working with new people and ana. So yeah, basta gusto mo. Mara to.
Klaus and
For me, sir, is kanang katong giingon ni Gian. If anyone is kanang interested in collabs, feel free to contact us, especially sa kanang Central Mindanao University na area na interested sa filmmaking. Since uban na crew members kay nagkuan naman kanang sa lahi na schools nag-school. So kanang contact us. And maybe kanang if you're interested in filmmaking, kanang try to kanang pursue it kay I know kanang there are a lot of people na kanang daghan pag potentials in terms of filmmaking and storytelling. Yeah, that's all.
Sige, ikaw, Ars. Do you have nakagusto i-promote? Ginasell ni mo online or something?
Nakamute ata.
Ara, na-mute. Na-mute ka, Ara.
Nakamute.
Ara, mute.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Ay, nawala si Ara.
Nawala na noon siya. Sige.
By the way, last shoutouts sa akong editor sa Ghetto Ride. Adrian Borbona, Young Bugs. Editor po siya sa mga music video ni Six Threat, the uprising rapper sa Davao City.
Ara, bumalik na ba si Ara?
So, mao nitong tong link sa ginaingon ni Jam kaganina. Ghetto graphs di ay siya. Lahi akong pagkadungog, sorry. Sige, go Ars.
For me, sir, I'd like to thank Mindanao Film Fest for the opportunity na ma-showcase ng mga film and ma-showcase for these young filmmakers. And for those aspiring young filmmakers, I hope na i-showcase sa inyo dahil there are a lot of opportunities out there. Marata. Thank you.
Thank you, Arabelle. And finally, Candy, you want to promote again katong exhibition and any other things that you want to promote?
Um, yeah, the exhibition, the sound exhibition is still up, I think, at the YouTube channel of the Dutch Art Institute. I don't know which video, but I think on day two. And thank you, Mindanao Film Festival, for having us. And thank you, Ivan, for bearing with me with this bad signal to connect me to the matrix. What else? I think our film can be streamed. No, we have another screening. Jay will, I think, will give announcements for new lead films, and we will put out promotions if we have more screenings. But last time we had quarantine with Jay, and
Yes.
we also contributed films for the what was that for Pride 20. I don't know if they still
Yeah.
have it up, but I think you could connect with Pasarida High for screenings of our films. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. Okay, thank you, Ram. Thank you, Gian, Klaus, Ara, Joy, and Jam for joining us. Naka 2 hours punta, no? So, yeah, this is the last,
Tulog na ako.
second to the last wave of the Mindanao Film Festival screenings online.
Okay. Thank you to our staff sa behind the scenes, si Ivan, si Dax, and si Lucy.
Yes, and salamat sa mga nag-watch, no? Daghan kayo nag-question tonight. Daghan mo fans club
Si Neo
siguro,
dyan
guys.
ang ating top-notch sa questions.
Number one si Neo. Support it kay si Neo, no? Shout out kay Neo. So, yeah, tomorrow naapay screening, the very last screening of the winning films. No, mo nito mga nadaog last year. Isa sa film kay ang film ni Joy, which is ang Angulo. So mo ni siya ang list of the films tomorrow. Quebradura from Zamboanga, Bootleg, winner of the jury prize from Davao. Maglabay Ra Insakit from Zamboanga, winner of best documentary. Pikpik, special jury recognition, no, from Nabunturan. We have Alindahaw. This is from
Nasipit.
Caraga, Nasipit, Agusan del Norte. No? And Angulo by Joy, which won the best editing. And then we have Asadi, another one from Zamboanga, the film which won best screenplay. And finally, the best film, best director award, the film Trabungko, by Joshua Medroso. So, mo na ang list sa films na makita niyo tomorrow. And we did interviews, no, Dolph? We did canned interviews with the filmmakers and their collaborators. So,
Watch for it.
watch for it tomorrow. So, yun. For the encore screening. So, yun. Once again, thank you. This has been the Mindanao Film Fest Strikes Back online talkback. Maayong gabi sa tanan and stay safe and stay healthy and
Good night.
good night.
Sleep well.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye, guys.
Mm.